Hello everyone, I am Soledad Garcia Munoz, a special rapporteur on economic, social, cultural and environmental rights. REDESCA is the short name we use in Spanish, of the Inter-American Commission of Human Rights. As you surely know, the Commission is the main and autonomous body of the Organization of American States, responsible for monitoring, promoting, and protecting human rights in the 35 states parties of the organization. Thank you very much for the opportunity to participate in this important interregional space. I am really sorry that I cannot be there personally, given the coincidence of the event with the Organization of American States General Assembly here in Washington. The Special Rapporteurship is the second created by the Inter-American Commission in its history. I am honored to be the first person to carry out this mandate after being elected in an Inter-American public contest. The rapporteurship was installed 9 months ago, and since then I am working for the Inter-American Commission to pay special attention to rights whose satisfaction is vital for the development and well-being of our peoples. Water, food, health, education, housing, work, social security, healthy environment, culture are part of this agenda full of connections with the 2030 agenda. It encourages us to work every day more and more in an interconnected and holistic way for human rights, development, democracy, the rule of law, and social cohesion. Our vision as a special rapporteurship is to be the leading specialized entity in the promotion and regional protection of economic, social, cultural, and environmental rights, promoting the integrality of human rights with emphasis on the structural causes of inequality and the populations in vulnerable situations or historical discrimination. Our mission is to support the Inter-American Commission of Human Rights in the fulfillment of its mandate for the promotion and protection of economic, social, cultural, and environmental rights in the Americas, based on the development and consolidation of standards in order to safeguard human dignity and contribute to the defense of the environment. The Commission has delegated my special rapporteurship to develop standards on business and human rights. This is done both through its strategic plan, which includes in the priority topics related to economic, social, cultural, and environmental rights, as well as the project through which the rapporteurship is launched and which emphasizes the subject of business and human rights. It is a project that until now has the main contribution of Spain and part of Switzerland, a state to which I want and I reiterate our gratitude for its important support. I also take advantage of the space to make a special appeal to these other states and stakeholders to add resources to the work of my office. That is without doubt one of the main challenges as a special and founding rapporteur. In these 9 months, we have done important activities in the field. We participated in the first regional consultation on human rights and business and human rights held by the Regional Office of High Commissioner of Human Rights and the United Nations Working Group on Business and Human Rights. In that space, we had important dialogue meetings with states, civil society, academy, and business representatives, as well, of course, with the United Nations Working Group and High Commissioner of Human Rights. Also, in December of last year, we developed a public consultation within the framework of the first Inter-American Forum on Human Rights, thanks to which we received valuable inputs of a wide and numerous spectrum of actors, in the construction of our agenda on these and other topics. We have participated in various academic forums in different countries of the region since the beginning of the mandate. For instance, for example, in Brazil, Chile, United States, and Mexico. And thanks to the initiative of Ecuador, we had a rich meeting with these main referents in the field who have made us aware of the process of their initiatives within the United Nations related to a binding treaty on the matter. In February at the Javeriana University in Bogota, we carried out a workshop especially designed to raise inputs on the experiences, challenges, and best practices of Colombia as the first country in the region to have a national plan on business and human rights. In this workshop, organized jointly with the government of Colombia, we have the special contributions of Chile and Mexico, countries that also record important advances in the field. As you surely know, recently adopted is the national plan of Chile. Chile recently adopted its national plan on business and human rights, which makes it the second country in the region to have such a tool. We also celebrated Canada's initiative for the creation of an ombudsperson on business and human rights, identifying the challenges of its mandate through a press release. On the relevance of the topic and the elaboration of the thematic report, I would like to say several ideas, to share several ideas. In recent years, the international community has advanced in the treatment of the growing role of national and transnational corporations, their impact on human rights, and the corresponding obligation of states in the field of prevention and response to such problems. The organs of the Inter-American system have repeatedly recognized that under certain circumstances, international responsibility for the state may be generated by attributing it to human rights violation committed by individuals, which it clearly includes private companies. In general, human rights violations related to the business action are translated not only into civil and political rights, but perhaps mainly to economic, social, cultural, and environmental rights, such as the right to health, water, the healthy environment, the prior and informed consultation of indigenous people, work and social security, among others. There is also the relevance of promoting the fulfillment of the obligation of states in the face of the enjoyment and protection of these rights. The consensus that has emerged in this area has been expressed mainly in the United Nations Guiding Principle on Business and Human Rights, adopted unanimously by the UN Human Rights Council in 2011. Another important step is the General Comment number 24 of the Economic, Social, Cultural Rights Committee. In particular, it should be noted that the duty to protect states is based on the guiding principles on taking appropriate measures to prevent, investigate, punish, and repair such abuse through appropriate policies, regulatory activities, and submission to justice. In this respect, as far as states under the Inter-American system are concerned, this duty of protection finds a conventional basis in Inter-American instruments and coincides with the aforementioned general obligation to guarantee the human rights contained in the Article 1.1 of the American Convention. Since the principles and norms of the universal system apply to the Americas, it is also highly necessary to compile standards and develop criteria for their implementation in the region. It is also very necessary to pay attention to other regional and national development around the world. Having said that, In a regional view of the human rights and business standards, we have to take at the center the commitments made in the framework of our regional system for the protection of human rights and base our efforts of systematization on the rich jurisprudence of the Commission and the Inter-American Court of Human Rights, significant especially regarding indigenous people and extractive sectors. It is important to mention Resolution 28/1887, adopted at the second plenary meeting of the Organization of American States General Assembly, to conduct a study on inter-American standards in business and human rights issues based on an analysis of the Convention's jurisprudence and reports emanating from the inter-American system. The preparation of the report on business and human rights implies the realization of this study and represents a first opportunity for the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights to deepen and develop the thematic in the hemisphere in order to establish the general legal framework in which it frames the international responsibility of states for business activities that generate human rights violations. Through the thematic approach from a regional perspective, this report will constitute a tool of enormous potentiality to improve and strengthen the legislation, practices, and public policies that seek to confront human rights violations committed by and/or facilitated by companies in the hemisphere. This report will be the first time that the Inter-American Commission collects, systematizes, and defines guidelines and standards on the international legal obligation of states on this subject, in particular in order to strengthen the ownership of human rights. In the context of such violation, ensure accountability by public officials and companies involved in violations, as well as effective reparation to victims. According to international regulations, states must ensure that companies and economic sectors providing all types of services comply with human rights obligations. If companies fail to comply, it should be the state's responsibility to adopt and implement an appropriate legal framework. However, despite the fact that there are international principles and advances in development in the inter-American system, there is currently no systematic analysis of the rules and applicable standards that can work with the states in the regulation and control of the business environment, both public and private, in the face of human rights. Therefore, in the first place, through the thematic report in preparation, the Inter-American Commission intends to strengthen the Inter-American standards on human rights and business, and the foregoing to support states in the development, modification, or adaptation of their public policies and norms in the field of human rights and the business sector. Despite carrying just 9 months of effective operation, the rapporteurship has made notable progress towards the elaboration on this referral report. Due to advances in the universal system, such as development in the Inter-American system, we are conducting research activities and compared jurisprudence related to business and human rights, analyzing the system legal frameworks in the region, such as the experiences and good practices that allow to compile the norms of business and human rights to establish inter-American standards in this area. The report also seeks good practices on the development of national business and human rights plans, as well as other ongoing initiatives evaluating trends, progress, and challenges. We hope to bring to the attention of the Inter-American Commission the first version of the report in October. In the process of its elaboration, we have made 2 important regional thematic hearings in Colombia and Santo Domingo, and the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights approved our conceptual note and index for the report at the period of session in Colombia. We have also circulated a questionnaire to state and stakeholders, which has been widely responded. We will also conduct an expert consultation on on business and human rights standards in relation to the structure and recommendations of the report. And once the report has been approved and published, the dissemination, promotion, and technical assistance activities of the Inter-American Commission will be carried out based on it. In all these actions, the interaction and coordination with the universal system and other regional systems through their bodies involved in the subject in business and human rights is a necessity and a priority. So I again appreciate this space, and I hope that this is the beginning of a fruitful collaboration between all of us. Please receive my very best wishes for your meeting. All the issues that you will be dealing with are important to the current report we are preparing, and I hope to have access to your conclusion. Bye bye. Thank you very much.